Hey, it's Matt, your average gamer, and for this video, we're going to be going over 9 more fun and OP builds to try in Elden Ring. A lot of these are build requests too. This is going to be an awesome one. I think only 2 on here aren't build requests. One of these is this one here. We're going to start with a fire and gravity build. So this is a unique one that uses both faith and intelligence. It's an intelligence and faith hybrid build, and it works around blades of stone along with the iron greatsword using flame spear. It has an awesome combination in which you can use incantations, the golden order seal, which will give you around 340 scaling, and as well as some spells. In this case, I like blades of stone to add in here, which does good damage. As long as the boss sits in it, it tends to add up to a lot of damage. If you're using the meteorite staff, get the boost from that. It's pretty awesome all around and gives you a lot of versatility. Just want to mention, by the way, if you have any more build requests, be sure to comment them below. Also want to give people a heads up that I've been sick the past week, so I haven't really gotten to comments as much. I had an upper respiratory infection all week, so I wasn't able to hop on and respond to comments as much as I would have liked to, but it was fun getting back into Elden Ring. The past couple days felt a little bit better, so that was pretty cool overall. It's totally random getting sick in the middle of summer, but it is what it is. Anyways, this build, it's going to be super powerful and fun. Definitely cool hybrid build to try out. Let's jump into equipment and stats for this one. We have the Flame Art Iron Greatsword plus 25 with Flame Spear. We're using the Meteorite Staff, of course, for the boost on Blades of Stone. We have 348 scaling with the Golden Order Seal. You can check out our armor set here. It's pretty unique for this build and gives you 51 poise. We have the Shard of Alexander Talisman, Godfrey Icon for anything chargeable, Fire Scorpion Charm to boost fire damage, Ritual Swords Talisman. Then we have the Intelligence tier to give us more intelligence, Flame tier. Let's jump into stats. We have 55 Vigor, 21 Mind, 21 Endurance, 18 Strength, 12 Dexterity, 55 Intelligence, 45 Faith. We are using Golden Vow, Howlish Shaburi, Blessing Spoon, Blades of Stone, and Burno Flame. Next up here, we have another cool one. It's for the Commander Standard. This is a build request, a direct build request. I don't really use Halberds that often, so I put this one off a bit. This was from like a month ago. The weapon itself is decent. You can get some decent damage with the charge attacks. And of course, the buff on the weapon, giving you 20% more attack power and defense, is probably the best part about the weapon overall. A lot of people like to use this weapon and then switch to something else, but since the build request was directly for the Commander Standard, we're going to stick with that. Does a little bit of pierce damage on the light attacks, however, the charge attacks seem to be standard damage. It's a little bit of a slash animation, but I believe it ends up being standard. There's one thing I don't like about this weapon personally. It's the slash animation does take some time, or standard damage, whatever it is, on the charged hits. And I want to build around charge hits if I'm using something that I have a lot of AR with. I believe it's between 650 and 700 when two-handed, so that's not bad. Decent strength scaling overall. However, the charge attacks, I feel like if it was like one giant thrust, would be better overall for a weapon like this rather than the spin attack, which is kind of weird because it's not going to build up on successive attacks really. And for a charge attack, it's a little bit underwhelming, but again, it's a fun weapon to use, and I do really enjoy the buff the weapon comes with. I want to mention this because I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I was sick. I didn't get as much time as I wanted to into Elden Ring or any other game, so I'm going to be doing some Night Rain content next week as well. Hopefully when I get better, I can get some content back up for you guys, put a little more effort into the next video for sure, and get some more build requests and some more unique builds out. Can't wait for that. We have the Commander Standard, plus 10 preferably, Giant Seal for buffs. Check out the armor set here. We have Gaius' set on along with the Great Helm, my favorite helm in the game. And then we have the Two-Handed Sword Talisman, Axe Talisman. We have the Spear Talisman for our regular hits, which are pierce damage to light attacks, Blade of Mercy Talisman. We have the Spike Crack tier, Open Line Hard tier. Let's jump into stats. And we have 60 Vigor, 21 Mind, 35 Endurance, 66 Strength. That's going to be 99 when you two-hand this, 14 Dexterity, 15 Faith. We're only using Flame Grant Me Strength because the Commander Standard has a buff of its own that counts as an aura buff. We have the Two-Handed Peeler as our next build. This was a direct build request as well. This builds up a ton of bleed and damage. It's actually surprising how much you get when you two-hand a Twin Blade, and the Godskin Peeler is no exception. Seriously, this absolutely shreds. Now, the Gargoyle's Twin Blade's really good two-handed because of the strength bonus and all that, but the Peeler can do it too. You're going to see how much damage here. Now, Mohg's going to take significant damage from bleed, of course, but you can see the build-up on successive hits. You're going to see in a second how much damage it adds up to, how much bleed procs you get when you're just two-handing a Twin Blade. It truly is incredible. Stack 10,000 damage there, and then we finish off Mohg with around, I don't know, 17,000 damage stacked. It really does build up fast. You can hit like crazy with this. If If you two-hand this, you're not getting a strength bonus because it's a dex weapon, but you will still get a ton of damage, bleed build up, and all those fast hits, successive hits, all that stuff will stack. Really impressed with the amount of damage you can get pretty much two-handing any twin blade with seppuku. Does work out quite well. This is of course a standard bleed build, but a really cool one. We have the blood Godskin peeler plus 25 preferably with seppuku. We have the drag communion seal. Check out our armor set here. We have 52 poise. The white mask is important here. Two-handed sword talisman. Wing sword insignia or rotten wing sword insignia is better if you have it. Lord of Blood's exaltation. Millicent's prosthesis. And then we have the blood-sucking crack tier, thorny tier. We're using Moog's shackle there to stun the boss. Let's jump into stats. And we have 60 vigor, 13 mind, 25 endurance, 12 strength, 45 dexterity, 45 arcane, 25 faith. We are using golden vow, flame grant me strength, and blessing spoon. And that's 2 build requests down. Another build request was for a classic knight build, so I decided to do a little bit of a different take on this one with the Claymore, Black Steel, Great Shield, and a little bit of a knight build. I've been playing a little bit of Dark Souls. When I was sick, actually, I was playing Dark Souls 3 for a bit. I really got to make some more content for that game because I love Dark Souls 3. But anyway, back to Elden Ring. I decided to make this a little bit off of that. Stormblade I did for some range, and then of course it's your standard Claymore and Shield build. Somebody was looking for a classic knight build. This is going to be a good setup for you. It, of course, is in quality affinity to go well with Stormblade because Stormblade's going to scale, of course, with dexterity. And then the weapon itself, you get a little bit of a strength bonus if you switch to two-handing, even though you're in quality because we have some strength scaling as well. Let's jump into equipment. We have the Quality Claymore plus 25 with Stormblade. We have the Heavy Black Steel, Great Shield, no skill on it. We have any seal for buffs. We have the Black Knight set on, and then the Solitude Helm. Shard of Alexander, Enraged Divine Beast Talisman. We have the Great Shield Talisman. We have the Arsenal Charms plus 1, or Great Jar's Arsenal if you have it. Bloodsucking Crack tier, Faith tier. Let's jump into stats. And we have 60 Vigor, 21 Mind, 40 Endurance, 40 Strength, 35 Dexterity, 25 Faith. A little bit of a big stat spread here, but still decent damage. You'll do fine with a build like this one. Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and of course, Blessing Spoon. So one problem I run into, consistent with Elden Ring, is NPC invaders. Like, wherever I go, they tend to be a pain. And this build absolutely crushes them. I've done a build for Giant Hunt before. I put it in Cold Affinity this time, did it a little bit differently. But you can see here, if you run into an NPC invader, you are not going to have a problem with a build like this. It's actually pretty hilarious. He just gets flipped up over and over again until he goes down. A couple more hits, I would have gotten a Frost proc for sure since we're Cold Affinity. But overall, it's a really cool one with Guts Greatsword and Giant Hunt that does a lot of damage, works well for bosses, and absolutely destroys NPC invaders. Let's jump into equipment. We have Cold Guts Greatsword plus 25 with Giant Hunt. We have any seal for buffs. We have the Solitude Helm on, part of the Solitude Black Knight set on, and then we have the Greybird chest piece for jump attacks. Shard of Alexander. We have the Claw Talisman. Again, jump attacks will be really good here for a lot of enemies. Arsenal Charms plus 1 or Great Jar's Arsenal. Ritual Swords Talisman. And then we have the Faith tier, Green Burst Crystal tier. Let's jump into stats. And we have 60 Vigor, 20 Mind, 32 Endurance, 60 Strength, 13 Dexterity, 20 Intelligence, 25 Faith. We have 57 Poise. We are using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, Blessing Spoon for our buffs. This is a really fun one. And next up here, we have Rellana's Twinblades Reloaded. This is a weapon I wanted to look at again, another build request. I've covered this weapon obviously before. I believe I've made the best build for it here that I've made yet. Really works well, allows you to have a little bit of versatility as well because we hit 60 intelligence, so you can use Lucette Staff and get it some spells too. On top of that, we're going to get amazing damage with the beams on this one. This is probably my best build for Rellana's Twinblades to date. And there we hold the stance. Let's see how much we get with the beams. The entire beams gave us almost 8,000 damage on the Draconic Tree Sentinel, which probably has around 20 or 40% magic resistance, so not bad at all. Switch back to Lucette Staff, and guess what? You can cast whatever spells you want to, as long as you can do it with 60 intelligence. Of course, there's going to be some that have higher requirements, but for me, Glintstone Icecrake's pretty cool. If I could hit him with it, that'd be excellent. But as far as spells go, there's a lot you can work with here with Lucette Staff, around 300 scaling, just over 300. Rellana's Twinblades making the most of the beam and getting a little bit of damage. We've got some faith too for the fire portion, but the fire portion just is a little bit underwhelming. Let's jump into equipment and stats. We have Rellana's Twinblades plus 10 preferably. We have Lucette's Glintstone Staff plus 10 with 314 scaling. Any seal for buffs. We have part of the Rakshasa set on here in Leda's armor. Let's check out the Talisman, Shard of Alexander, Magic Scorpion Charm. We, of course, have Rellana's cameo for when you hold it down. You need to hold it down for a second and a half to get the boost. Millicent's Prosthesis. We have the Bloodsucking Crack tier, Magic tier. Let's jump into stats. And for stats on this build, we have 55 Vigor, 21 Mind, 23 Endurance, 16 Strength, 17 Dexterity, 60 Intelligence, 33 Faith. We're using Golden Vow, Halisher Brewery, Blessing's Boon, Terra Magica, Glintstone Ice Crag, and Glintstone Stars. And next up here, we have a build for the Frozen Needle. Now, this one is not going to be super OP. This was a build request. Somebody wanted me to build around the charge attacks on the Frozen Needle. You actually get range with them because it's a little bit of an Ice Spear. However, Ice Spear is much better than this. Still, it's pretty fun to use the charge attacks ultimately. Made a mistake not two-handing this early. I would have gotten more poise damage. You're going to see in a second I end up two-handing this. And they also wanted a light roll, so I did a light roll for this build as well. Again, not my favorite weapon because the Rapier class for me isn't a huge deal in terms of AR or anything. It's relatively low, and the Anspear Rapiers really do kill the entire class because they're so overpowered. Speaking of which, somebody wanted to build for them. Anything I didn't get to this week, I probably will get to next week. There's some more charge attacks, though. We did get the Frostbrock in. You're eventually going to see a Poise Break, too. The charge attacks, again, you get a projectile on them, so that part is fun, and it can do a little bit of poise damage. But you're probably better off using successive attacks and all that. Still, building up charge attacks on a Rapier was fun. It's a little bit of a challenge to use. Still builds up Frost, still does decent damage, and you get the fun projectile too. This is going to be one more so for people that like a little bit of a challenge. If you do like a little bit of a challenge, this could definitely be a cool one. What I'd like to do with this build in the future, though, is I would like to turn this into a parry build with this weapon and a parry shield. I think that would be a lot of fun. If that's something you want to see, be sure to comment that below as well. I'm going to do another parry build soon, but adding that in with the projectile and stuff and mixing that in with parries, I don't know, that sounds a lot of fun. But anyways, let's jump into equipment, stats, everything you need to know for a Frozen Needle build that is built around charge attacks and a light roll. This is, of course, a really fun one as well, and hopefully it turned out great for the person that requested it. Let's jump into equipment and stats. And for equipment, we have the Frozen Needle plus 10 preferably. We have any seal for buffs. We have the Circlet of Light on. I almost called it Light of Makilla. Circlet of Light on, Sanguine Robe, and then just random boots on. Axe Talisman, Two-Handed Sword Talisman, Melissen's Prosthesis, Shard of Alexander. And then for our tiers, we have the Spike Crack tier, Bloodsucking Crack tier. Again, build up around charge attacks here mainly. I put the Shard in there, though, because you have Impaling Thrust, so you're going to want to use that. Most players are going to want to use that. 60 Vigor, 21 Mind, 28 Endurance, 70 Dexterity. We have 26 Faith. We are using Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessing's Boon for this build. And next up, we have a Jar Knight build. This was another request. Now, the person that requested this, I'm not sure if they're referring to the Knights of the Jar. That's actually random and can be based off of player's build. So it could have been a random roll. I don't know what the standard 3 that you get with the Jar Knight is, with the 3 different enemies that you have to face when you're doing the jar. Anyways, for this one, this is built around Prayerful Strike and the Banished Knight Shield. This is what they requested. It turned out really good. Actually turned into a pretty solid build. The only thing I don't like about this build is the Banished Knight Shield guard boost could definitely be better. But still, we're able to get guard counters in here. And of course, Prayerful Strike absolutely destroys enemies and bosses while healing you. It's amazing. It's one of the best Ashes of War in the entire game. And there's another guard counter. And then, of course, after the guard counters, you're going to want to follow up too. Get in some charge attacks as well. That'll build up poise damage. But, of course, if at any point you need to switch back to Prayerful Strike if you're losing HP, you can then gain HP back by using the Ash of War. Works much like the Blasphemous Blade, except it's an up-close version. Again, a little bit harder to use than the Blasphemous Blade. Obviously, it's a lot easier. It's kind of like, I don't want to call it the poor man's Blasphemous Blade because I don't think it's that bad. I would actually just call it a challenging version of the Blasphemous Blade because you got to get up close and personal. It can't really be the only thing that you use, especially as you're moving on journeys. This is Journey 4. By the time you get to New Game Plus 7, you're going to need to land many of those. It does go well with Black Flame's protection, though, if you do have the faith for that. The extra defense is sometimes worth it when running Prayerful Strike. In a second here, we're going to go over equipment stats, everything you need to know for a really cool Jar Knight build. We have the Heavy Great Mace, plus 25 preferably, with Prayerful Strike, Banished Knight Shield, any seal for buffs. We have the Black Knight Armor set on with the Jar Helm on, Curved Sword Talisman. We have the Great Shield Talisman. We have the Blade of Mercy Talisman. We have the Shard of Alexander Talisman. And then for our tiers on this build, we are going to have the Spike Crack tier, Bloodsucking Crack tier. Let's jump into stats. I want to mention, by the way, the Great Shield Talisman now, a long time ago it was changed. It now buffs shields with lower guard boost more than ones with higher guard boost. 60 Vigor, 60 Strength, 25 Faith, Golden Vow, Flame Grant Me Strength, and Blessing's Boon. All right, and now we have a Godslayer King build. Of course, I've done similar builds to this before, but I wanted to actually put up a build that I use frequently for my own fun. Like, a lot of these I make and do build requests for, and this is another one that's not a build request. Most of these on here were. I think at least 6, maybe even 7 of them were. For this, though, this is a Godslayer build that I run personally and have fun with. This is one of my most fun setups. Very similar stats to how I put it here. It's awesome all around. Does good amount of damage with the Godslayer's Greatsword. I'm going to show off 2 things with this one. And of course does decent with the incantations as well, including Black Flame, which does a lot of percentage damage. It's probably one of my favorite ones on here. This is absolutely awesome. I love rocking the Godslayer's Greatsword and Black Flame incantations. If you like a setup like this one, I recommend using this one. This has really good stats for you overall. It does trade a little bit off with a little less damage than just building around the Godslayer's Greatsword itself, of course, because we went for a little bit more faith than dex, and the Godslayer's Greatsword, of course, loves dexterity. It scales most with dexterity. Does have the faith on the fire portion. Pretty much all the physical damage on the weapon is going to be dexterity. Despite the fact that you do need 20 strength to wield the weapon, it does not have high strength scaling, and increasing your strength stat doesn't increase the AR that much here. We have the Godslayer's Greatsword plus 10 preferably. We have the Godslayer Seal plus 25 preferably. You can check out the armor set here. It's a pretty cool one. We hit 65 poise for this build. We have the Shard of Alexander. We have the Godfrey icon for anything chargeable, your incantations, Arsenal Charms plus 1, or Great Jar's Arsenal if you have it. Two-handed Sword Talisman, I'm going to explain that one in a second. Spike Crack Tier, Flame Tier. I'm going to explain both of those, the Spike Crack Tier and Flame Tier as well. We have 55 Vigor, 21 Mind, 30 Endurance, 20 Strength, 35 Dexterity, 50 Faith. We're using Golden Vow. We have Black Flame's Protection, love it for this setup. Blessing's Boon. We have Scouring Black Flame and Black Flame. Now I want to show off the full potential of the build here. This is exactly how I would run it. You could use incantations as a backup, but here's the Godslayer's Greatsword Ash of War in its entirety, almost 5,000 damage there. And then, of course, afterwards, you're going to be mixing in jump attacks, charge attacks, all that stuff to get in poise damage, build up poise damage. And then you can even go for a critical break, or if you don't feel like doing that, you can back off, use the Ash of War again, or use different incantations. That's the entire concept of the build, and why I like running the two-handed Sword Talisman as well as the charge tier. It gives you the ability to get in some seriously damaging charge attacks with the Godslayer's Greatsword. Thanks for watching this one. Thanks for tuning into my top 9 fun and OP builds. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you have any build requests, be sure to comment them below. Any ones I didn't get to, I'm still working on for next week. Like I said, I ended up with an upper respiratory infection this week. Unfortunately, I felt terrible pretty much all week. Just started to feel better like the past day or two. Glad I got this one up, though. A lot of the build requests done, and this one, 7 of them done, so that was pretty cool, and 2 random builds. Can't wait to do the next video, and of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have a great day.